is up, lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to the channel and another product review. As I said on the previous video, they're coming in thick and fast now and I am not complaining. We've got another OBD2 scanner from ThinkDiag this time. As you can see, they've got their own kind of company here, ThinkDiag or mythinkdiag.com. They reached out to me on my Facebook page for budget cars and bikes and asked me, they said that basically they'd seen some stuff I'd done for Top Don and asked me if I was interested in reviewing one of their products, which of course I'm more than happy to do that based on an honest opinion, of course. And they sent this out. Now this is seemingly an amazing bit of kit. I cannot believe the functionality of this. We're going to open up the box in a minute and we'll talk through everything, the negatives, the positives. We'll do a quick kind of test, as it were, real life test in the car, because we've still got the yellow warning light on the car as well, so that's kind of useful in some respects. I can use this to kind of determine that, because when we did the Top Don, the budget Top Don scanner, we did find out what that problem was, but I'm hoping in some ways that this will tell me a little bit more. We'll see, and see if we can get rid of that yellow light. Anyway, this is the ThinkDiag 2, and as I said, we're going to open up this box, see what we get inside, and then I'll talk you through it. First thing you'll notice is this lovely carry case it comes in as well. This is a hardened case, so that's going to keep it really nicely protected while you have it in your toolbox, on your workshop, or in a cupboard at home, whatever. So I'm quite impressed with that as well. Obviously, it's got the Think car, got a logo on the front there, and a little zip around the side. So let's open that up and see what we get. Inside the box, you're going to see there a nice instruction pamphlet. There it does come with a serial number and an activation code. I'll talk about that in a second, but this is the unit itself, and just underneath here is your connecting lead, as it were, and some of these kind of anti-damp thingies that you get with everything. But let's have a little look. And essentially that is what you get in your box. As I said, it comes in a lovely carry case, a hardened carry case, and you do get the instructions as well and an activation code. We're going to talk about the activation code in a moment, as I said, but I believe that is the instruction manual and this is what you'll need to activate it. Now this is slightly different to most OBD2 scanning tools in the respect that it is a kind of standalone Bluetooth unit, but you do still have to kind of use this lead here. Effectively what you do, you'll download a program, you'll download an app from the App Store for the ThinkDiag group, and basically you'll register everything. You'll need this serial number here, I believe. You'll definitely need this activation code. You'll need an email and that activation code to get this up. You do get the first 12 months absolutely free, so that's amazing value. And then effectively what happens is if you were to say, I will take out the 3-year subscription after your first 12 months is up, that's going to cost you around about 28 quid a year, I believe, something like that. It's about 100 quid, I think, for the 3-year activation, or you can take it for 2 years. I think they've also got a budget 12-month option, but obviously if you do go for the 3-year option, it makes it cheaper per annum, as it were. So, you know, it depends how much you're going to use this effectively. And there is the unit, as it were. There you will see a 3-light kind of setup here. The power light will come on just at the top left there when you connect it to the vehicle. Obviously when it's talking to the vehicle, that light will come on, and the other light there, the IO light, will come on when everything's up and running and it's scanning and all the rest of it. There is the lead as well. Incredibly good quality by the looks of things. It's also got the security bolts here as well to keep everything in place. Lovely little SCART connector at the bottom there as well. Quite impressed with that. Not overly long to say, but then at the end of the day, as I said, this is a kind of standalone Bluetooth functionality kit here, so you don't need to have it plugged into your scanning screen, as it were. What you'll end up doing, as I said, is downloading the app from the ThinkDiag 2 group on the App Store, and then you'll use whatever you want to use. You can use your mobile phone, you can use your tablet, you can use your PC if it's got app function. You can use anything you like. Your device will effectively become the screen for the ThinkDiag 2, which I think is quite an innovative solution. As I said, so effectively what you would do is you plug that end into your car, you'll plug that end into that end over there. Obviously, got a nice deep little crevice that you get there, and then effectively what you would do is you would have the program on your tablet PC or your phone, and then you basically do everything through there. I'm going to be able to explain this obviously a lot more in detail when we get out to the car, and I'll show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 10-inch tablet because that's on Android 10, and I have heard some stories where it won't work very well with Android 12. It needs an update, a software update. Bearing in mind you do get lifetime updates of this as well, which is obviously another bonus. You get the first year free as well, but you will not believe what this little thing can do. It is just everything you will ever need. It will reset your service lights, it will code keys, it will talk to pretty much every module in your car as well. This is not just a cheap Chinese scanning OBD tool. This is one of the best I've seen so far when it comes to functionality and what it will do. There's nothing this thing won't do, seemingly. I'm looking at the adverts, watching a couple of videos. This is top of the range. The only downside I can see really is you've got to use your own phone or your own tablet, but that actually could end up being a bonus. We'll talk about that. I'm going to set up a camera on the tripod and I'm going to do a in-screen recording as well, so I can show you exactly what this does, and we'll go through it together because I've not actually even turned this on yet. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going to get through this together, as I said, in real life, and I'll tell you exactly what I think of this ThinkDiag 2. Let's get out to the car and we'll put this through the test. So we've done everything we needed to do basically to get the software onto the tablet PC. Now I decided to use the tablet PC because I want a bigger screen. There are some stories online, if you research this, that talk about how it doesn't work very well on tablet PCs and you should really use your mobile phone. For somebody of my kind of age, I prefer to see as much as humanly possible, and if I can keep it on this kind of angle here, this kind of sized screen here, it makes it feel much more like a normal OBD2 scanner machine, as it were, because bearing in mind all you're actually using is this here. That'll plug into your OBD2 port, and then you'll use this as your screen, as it were. That's why basically this is as cheap as it is for what it does, at least. We've obviously downloaded the ThinkDiag app and it is just in there, so we've pressed that. That should load everything up. The one thing that I didn't take into consideration when I downloaded this, and I just found out, is that it'll come up in that kind of format there. I really wanted it, if I'm honest, in the other way around as it was just now, but you know, that's fine. That's not a big problem. It's still a huge sight bigger than it would be if it was on my phone. So that's what you're greeted with first off as soon as you start the app up. You've got your all system diagnostics, your maintenance functions, your just simple OBD, and the reports and the history of what you've done essentially. Now we are going to pop outside, as I said, and we're going to try to set all this up. I'm going to try to do it without registering it first, just to see how much we can get through, and then if I do need to register it, because obviously there's no point, I don't need to use this per se right now, so I'd obviously rather activate the 12-month free subscription only when I need to use it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to basically hook this up to the car using the OBD2 functions and just give you an overview of what it looks like, how it works, all that kind of stuff. If I do need to register it, then I've got all that kind of info down here anyway. So let's get out to the car and we will see what we can find out with this ThinkDiag 2. So we're in the Vauxhall Mocha, which is one of our project cars at the moment. I'm hoping you've seen the videos on that. It's an ongoing project. Not much has happened, but we are here now because I wanted to use this in a more modern vehicle than the RAV4 because it's a more modern scanner, of course. So we are sat in the passenger seat, as you can see, because effectively what happens is, as this is a standalone kind of screen, basically, this is going to mirror everything that's going on the ThinkDiag 2 there. It's plugged into the OBD2 port there. You can just plop that there. This has a range of around about 10 meters, I think, so you could stand outside by the bonnet, the back of the car. You could have the engine running while you look at the screen. You don't have to be sat inside the car. So I decided to use the passenger seat purely because it gives me far more room to be able to see what I'm doing and all the rest of it. Following on from when we were in the kitchen just now, I did have to activate this whole system here. I had to put the activation code and the serial number and all that kind of stuff because it just wouldn't let me do anything. So we will open up the ThinkDiag app again, and as you can see, it's exactly the same as it was before. So we've got the ignition on, as you can see. There's nothing really much to go on there. What I'm going to do is try to get this out of the sun for you here, and we will do as much as we can do in the car based on my limited knowledge. I will run you through some specs obviously in a moment, and as you can see, it's connected via Bluetooth. We will pair that up, so obviously everything is as it should be. And loading. The screen's gone dark. I'm not quite sure why, but I think it's reading the VIN number. As you can see, there's something going on up there anyway, so I'm assuming that is VIN decoding, as it were, and it's still loading down here. So we'll fast forward this a little bit. So as you can see, it's now gone into the Opel software is upgrading kind of function because it's realized it is an Opel, so there's no point in me, well, there's no need for me to actually put all that in, and it's now telling me it is an Opel. It doesn't tell me the model, but it says it's a 2013. It's still loading something down there, so I'm assuming there's some more info to come. We'll wait for that to all load up and come back in. So it's updated that. It's telling me now it's a 2013 Vauxhall Mocha, blah 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 blah. We just press OK. Now then, well, the first thing I want to do with this basically is do a health report, just see what's going on with the car, because as you know, it is a project car. We don't know very much about it, so this is going to give us far more information, which is exactly what I want it to do. And it's started already. Here we are. I'm hoping this is going to go all the way through. As you can see, there's a picture of the car, an overview, the progress bar, and a time up there as well. It's telling me there's no fault codes at the moment, which is exactly what you want to see, of course. We'll let that scan through. It's at 74%. It's going really quickly, actually, so there's no point in me time-lapsing it or cutting back in. We'll just let it carry on. If it does stall for any reason, then we'll cut back in. Okay, so that's abnormal. I'm not quite sure what abnormal means. There's 4 there. They says there's the heating, ventilation, the aircon, the parking assist, the body control module, and the radio. Now it's saying DTCs 3, 3, 2 and 10. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about. It could be that it had a low battery, all that kind of stuff. We could try to clear the DTCs, but I'm not going to do that right now because I've got so many other things I need to do on the car. Actually, no, I'll tell you what, we will do that. We'll clear the DTCs and we'll see exactly what happens because I'm interested to see what that's all about anyway. I was going to do it anyway, so we may as well just do it. As that progresses down, as you can see, the rear differential clutch control module, no faults there. That's good to know. So I'm assuming it's doing another quick scan here while it's clearing the codes. It's at 85% almost, well 95 now, so I'm hoping that's going to come back in with no abnormalities and we can carry on. Alright, it's still saying there's some abnormals, body control module and the aircon or the heating ventilation system. Not sure what that's all about. I wonder if we can get in there and find out a bit more. Now it's a stop-start system as we know. I'm assuming it's the KL9. Read fault code. Okay, let's have a little look at that then. Reading fault code, freeze frame, calibration not learnt, rear window motor, rear right window motor. So basically it's still got 4 DTCs, which I'm not 100% sure why that could be. We're going to go into there, we're going to read the fault codes, see what that comes up with for the air conditioning. Now the VIN's not programmed, it says here, and the security code is not programmed for the air conditioning. I have absolutely no idea what any of that means. I'm not a hardcore mechanic, as you guys know. I'm not going to worry about that. I mean, it says here, do you want to clear the fault code? Okay, well let's clear it and see what happens, see if it comes back again. If it does come back again, then I'll have to look into it a little bit more deeply. Successfully cleared, but there are still faults in the system. So if we go back in now, try to clear the DTCs again, I guess. I mean, it's all really intuitive. This is incredibly quick as well. When it comes to the touch screen, it just blams through everything, so it must have an incredibly good processor inside the THINKDIAG 2 unit down there as well. So we are back again, still got some abnormalities, but the thing is there are no warning lights on the dash, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. I will have to look into that a little bit more closely. Now let's do a system scan because we haven't done that yet. It's probably going to be a little bit slower, so we'll probably cut back in a couple of seconds. So it's done its health report now, and as you can see, everything just says it's equipped, so I'm not quite sure what the point of that was, if I'm honest. Now let's get back out of here. Yes, we want a quick maintenance functions. Let's have a look in there. Now this is the really, well, not the really important stuff, but the really clever stuff about this. I mean, why would you buy this specific THINKDIAG 2 over a normal scanner? What is bi-directional? Now bear in mind, this is a bi-directional scanner. What does that mean? It basically means that if, for example, if you had a problem with your electric window, as in it wouldn't go down but it would only go up, or it was stuck halfway or anything like that, and you weren't sure whether it was the motor or the switch or anything like that, you weren't 100% sure what was causing that problem, you would essentially go in to the bi-directional functions in here and you can activate the electric window. Now if the window went up from you activating it through the THINKDIAG program, then you'd know obviously it wasn't the electric window motor, it was far more likely to be the switch in the door down here. So that's really useful for diagnosing that kind of problem. Same with the air conditioning, the power steering, the radio, all that kind of stuff. If you're not 100% sure what the problem is, if it's a motor or a switch, then you can basically activate that function through this software in here, and if it doesn't work, then you know obviously it's a motor, and if it does work, then it's more likely to be a switch. Really, really clever stuff. It will also reset the DPF for you, and it can actually tell you how much soot is in the EGR and the DPF, and basically it can do a regeneration and clear all that up for you. It will also do the usual stuff, like it can reset the brakes, it can reset the EGR, it can reset the TPMS, it has reset oil functions as well, the service lights, all that kind of, all the stuff that you would expect to see at this price point, it has inside. But as I said, this is bi-directional, so basically you can talk to the car as the car talks to you. You can tell it what you want it to do. There's also ECU coding which can be done here as well. It will even code a new key for your car. Yeah, I know. So you don't have to spend 150 quid to get somebody to come out to your car if you want a spare key. If you've got stop-start technology, push-button start, keyless start, that kind of stuff. You can buy yourself a remote key, bring it to the car, and then basically, from what I've seen on YouTube, you go into these programs here, find out which one. It does it through the immobilizer. So what you would do is bring the remote key to the car. You would activate the function that does the ECU reprogramming. You hold the new remote fob up to the stop-start button, press activate on one of these. I'm not quite sure exactly which one it is now, and it will program a new remote fob to you, so you can get yourself a spare key for the price of what you would buy a spare key fob from off eBay or Amazon or whatever. So you don't have to actually buy one from Vauxhall and then get it programmed, all that kind of stuff. If you've got the stop-start button and you just want a new remote key, you can get that done. Obviously, it doesn't cut keys, that would be ridiculous, but it will program your remote key, which I think is amazing. So what else does this do? As I said, it's about 3-meter range. It's got an incredibly rugged design as well, as you can see here. You could throw this about with this rubber casing. It's designed to sit in a garage environment in that respect, so you know it's never going to get damaged. As I said, it'll do the key coding. If you need to change your fuel injectors or your glow plugs, that kind of stuff, you would normally need to get those coded into the car. This will do that for you. It will code the injectors and the glow plugs. Going back to activating stuff, if you've got a problem with your sunroof as well, you can use this to activate the sunroof to see if the problems with the motor or the switch. Again, very useful, same as the windows. You have air suspension adaptation as well. If you're riding a little bit high or a little bit low and you want to reset the adaptation to your air suspension, it'll do that. If you've got something like an Audi or a BMW that have got adaptive lighting, you can have headlight matching. That'll do that as well. Now, this covers 115 different manufacturers, which is far more than most of the others I've ever reviewed and actually used in my lifetime. So 115 manufacturers, there's not many out there it won't cover. So now we're going to have a little look at the OBD2 functions as well. While we're here, we may as well. So now this is your basic OBD2 functions. It says DTCs in this ECU 0, which is quite interesting when you consider when we did the other scan, the full health scan, it had 4 DTCs but no lights on the dash. Not sure what that's about. I don't think I'm really going to worry about it too much. And as you can see, there's nothing really to be concerned about there. That's your basic. There's your VIN number up there as well. And you can read the live data as you would expect. It has the same as the Topdon 600S. It has live data where you can basically have 4 different functions going off at the same time and read through those 4 live data figures and find out if maybe one of the O2 sensors is running a little bit rich or a little bit lean compared to the others. Really, really useful stuff that. Obviously, you can clear your fault codes. The beauty of having the OBD2 and the other full maintenance and all system diagnostic scans is that once you've run out, as in, because basically when you buy your ThinkDiag 2, you will get a free 12-month subscription, so you can literally use it for 12 months absolutely free, all software updates, all brands, all functions, all the rest of it for 12 months. After that time period is up, if you don't think you need that anymore, it will still let you use the OBD2 functions, so you can use it as a basic scanner in that respect. And then if you decide to buy something a bit more fancy and you want to get in deep into the systems and find out what's going on if you do have a problem, then you basically reactivate your subscription or you continue it after the 12 months. It's not overly expensive. It works out about £1 a week for the subscription. If you took out a 2-year subscription to be able to access all of the stuff in here that we've gone through, it costs about £1 a week. I mean, break it down, that isn't a lot. It's 99 quid for 2 years, I think. So again, as I said, about £1 a week. And then you've got 150 manufacturers. You can do all the bi-directional stuff, reports, history, all that kind of good stuff. So I think it's worth it. But if you don't need that, you get it for free, as I said, for 12 months anyway. If you're not really using that after 12 months and you're not likely to buy a new car for the next year or so, just use the OBD2 function, because that will still work even after the subscription stopped. So that is it. That is the ThinkDiag 2. Up and running in the car. As you can see, there's a couple of things that did confuse me, but I will get into it. I mean, it's a very, very complex system. Now, bear in mind, I looked online today to find out what the cheapest bi-directional scanner was out there. I couldn't find one less than 300 quid. This is about £110 to buy off eBay, or £125, I think it is, off Amazon. I will put a direct link in the description to this as well, plus a bonus code, as in a discount code, so you can buy it directly. I don't get paid for any of that, but, you know, you can buy it from the same people who sent me out this unit, so you can trust them in that respect. But that is it. So what do I think of it? I think it's brilliant. I think it's an incredibly in-depth scan function tool that, not everyone's going to need, but it's nice to have. And if you pay 120 quid for it and you've got 12 months of this incredible in-depth diagnostic stuff that this will do, then great. If you don't change cars very often, then the OBD2 function is going to be all you need. But if you need to get in there and find out what's going on, if you have got any problems, you can use that within the 12 months. Or, as I said, upgrade it again for a new subscription for 2 years. It costs you £1 a week. It's not much, is it really? And all you've got to do is have that sat in your car wherever you need it. Just stick it in the glove box. You don't have to have this super expensive scanner in the back of the car worried that someone's going to break in and nick it. You can use it on your mobile phone, of course, but with somebody like me, I like to have a little bit of a bigger screen, so I will keep it on my tablet, but I may download it onto my phone as well, because then that way it's in the car and it's on my phone. If I do find I need to use it for anything, I've always got it with me. Right, that's it, guys. I really hope that's been of some interest to you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Give the video a like, a share, all that kind of good stuff. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks when we probably will be reviewing another car, I would imagine. If you've got any questions at all, you want links for anything that aren't in the description, give me a shout. I'm happy to do that. Comments below, please. What do you think of this? Is it necessary? Do you need it? Do you think the price is right? I think it's spot on, personally. For 12 months free subscription, 120-ish quid. For all that this does, this has got to be the cheapest bi-directional scanner unit that you can buy right now on the market. Anyway, as I said, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. I hope it's been of some help, and we'll catch up soon. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.